There are psychics who occasionally get things right. And then there's Moni Vidente, the woman who has terrified and fascinated millions of Spanish speakers for decades, with predictions that come true with precision that defies all explanation. These aren't vague guesses. These aren't forced interpretations after the fact. These are specific predictions with names, dates, details impossible to guess. And that later become reality. Moni Vidente predicted the Mexico earthquake of 2017 months before it happened. She predicted the pandemic in 2019 when no one was talking about global viruses. She predicted celebrity deaths weeks in advance. She predicted political crises with specific names. And her accuracy rate is so high that even the hardest skeptics have had to admit there's something unexplainable about her visions, and now she has revealed something about Donald Trump, something about November 2025, something so specific, so disturbing, so impossible to ignore that her words have gone viral. Millions are sharing them, analysts are debating them, and people close to Trump are genuinely worried because when Moni Vidente marks a specific date for a specific person, something happens, always, without fail. And she has marked November 2025 for the former President of the United States. And what she revealed won't let you sleep peacefully. Are you prepared to discover what Moni Vidente saw about Donald Trump and November 2025? To understand why this particular prediction has caused so much fear, to know the specific details that make it impossible to dismiss this as simple fortune-telling. Because what you're about to hear are not mystical generalities. These are terrifying specificities, exact dates, concrete events, warnings so detailed that when November arrives, you'll be able to verify every element. And that's what makes Moni's predictions so disturbing. They leave no room for denial. Either they happen as she said, or they don't. And her track record suggests they will. Moni Vidente. Her real name is a mystery, her age an enigma, but her presence in the Spanish-speaking esoteric world is undeniable. For over 20 years, she has made predictions on radio programs, television, newspaper columns, and her accuracy rate is statistically impossible if it were pure chance. She predicted results of presidential elections. She predicted corruption scandals before they came to light. She predicted natural disasters days in advance. She predicted deaths of public figures weeks ahead. Not all her predictions come true, but the ones that do are so specific, so impossible to have been guessed, that they generate uncomfortable questions about how she knows what she knows. And in April 2025, on her weekly program broadcast from Mexico, Moni Vidente revealed something about Donald Trump, and the studio fell silent. The hosts looked at each other uncomfortably, and when the program ended, the clip went viral immediately, especially in the United States. So Moni said, "I see former President Trump in November. It's November specifically, and I see a verdict, not a trial, not a delay, but a final verdict. I see him in court. I see the word guilty being pronounced, and I see that it will be in November. And I see that when this happens, America will enter chaos that nobody imagined. Verdict. In November, guilty pronounced. Chaos in America." This was not a vague prediction. The hosts immediately asked for details, and Moni continued with specificities that made any vagueness disappear completely. "I see specifically the third week of November. Between the 17th and the 22nd. I see it will be afternoon. I see the courtroom packed. I see cameras. I see that Trump believes until the last moment that he will escape, that his power will save him, that the jury won't dare. But I see the word guilty, and I see his face. I see shock. I see denial. I see a man who never believed this could happen to him discovering that it has. Third week of November. Between 17th and 22nd afternoon, courtroom packed. Trump expecting to escape. Word guilty. Face showing shock and denial. These are not generalities. These are specificities that can be verified. The third week of November 2025 will arrive. And we'll see if Moni was right or not. But she continued. And here's where the prediction becomes truly disturbing, and I see more. I see that when Trump is convicted, his supporters will react, but not in the way he expects. I see division. I see some calling for violence. I see others saying it's time to accept reality. I see the MAGA movement splitting in half, and I see Trump discovering that his power was more fragile than he thought, that many followed him not out of loyalty, but out of convenience. And when convenience ends, loyalty disappears. Division in MAGA, split in half. Some calling for violence, others for acceptance. Trump discovering fragility of his power. Loyalty disappearing, the hosts asked, "Will there be violence? Will there be attempts at insurrection?" And Moni responded, "I see there will be attempts. I see radical groups will try something, but I see they will fail. I see that authorities will be prepared this time, not like January 6th. This time they'll be ready. And I see that when the attempts fail, when it becomes clear Trump cannot be saved, something will change. The spell will be broken. The illusion that he is untouchable will be shattered. Attempts by radical groups. Failure of those attempts. Authorities prepared. Spell broken. Illusion of untouchability shattered. This is extraordinarily specific. And if something remotely like this happens, the implications are profound. Because it would mean Moni can see not just external events, but psychological dynamics. Changes in loyalty, moments of collective transformation, but there's more. Because Moni also spoke about Trump himself personally, about what he will experience internally. I see Trump in November and I see his face. I see rage. I see denial. I see someone who cannot believe this is happening to him. I see that he expected many things, but not this. Not a real conviction, not loss of his invincibility. And I see a specific moment, the night after the verdict, where he will have a breakdown, where the mask of strength will fall. And I see tears of rage, of frustration, of fear. Tears that nobody will see publicly, but that will mark the end of an era. Night after the verdict. Emotional breakdown, mask of strength falling, tears in private. In Devanira, the hosts were stunned. They asked, will he go to prison? For how long? And Moni clarified, I see that the November verdict won't be the final imprisonment. I see there will be appeals. There will be legal battles. But I see that something fundamental changes after the verdict. I see that his aura of invincibility is permanently destroyed. And without that aura, he is just another old man facing justice. The magic is gone, appeals and legal battles after verdict, but aura of invincibility permanently destroyed. Magic gone. These are verifiable predictions. When we reach December 2025 and beyond, we'll know if Moni was right, and then Moni made the most chilling prediction of all, and I see something else about November and Trump. I see betrayal. I see someone very close to him, someone he trusts completely, someone from family or inner circle. And this person will be a key piece in the conviction. Not directly, but their actions or words will provide crucial evidence. And when Trump discovers after the verdict that he was betrayed by someone so close, something will die in him, not physically, but psychologically, the ability to trust. And that will change him permanently. Betrayal by someone very close. Family or inner circle. Crucial evidence coming from this person. Trump discovering after verdict. Psychological death of ability to trust. Who could it be? Analysts studying Moni's predictions have proposed multiple possibilities. Ivanka, Don Jr., a close advisor, a lawyer. Speculation is intense. But Moni didn't name the person. She only said it's someone Trump trusts completely, and she added, and I see the number 47. I don't know what it means exactly, but I see the number 47 connected with Trump and November. It could be the 47th day of something. It could be 47 jurors or witnesses. It could be case number 47. But the number 47 is there, and it will be important. The number 47. Connected with Trump and November, meaning still unknown. 47 is also significant because Trump would be the 47th president if he wins in 2024. Seeing that number connected to his conviction has powerful symbolism. as if what could bring him back to power is also what will bring him down. So how credible are these predictions? Should we take them seriously? Let's examine Moni Vidente's track record with political predictions about the United States. In 2015, she predicted, "A businessman with no political experience will become president of the United States. It will shock the world, and his presidency will be unlike anything seen before." Trump won in 2016, shocking the world, and his presidency was indeed unprecedented. In 2019, she predicted, "The American president will face a crisis that exposes his incompetence. It will be a health crisis, and many will die unnecessarily." COVID came in 2020, and Trump's response was widely considered disastrous, with hundreds of thousands dying. In 2020, she predicted, "The president will lose power but will not accept it. There will be violence. There will be an attack on democracy itself. But in the end, he will be forced out." Trump lost the election, didn't accept it. January 6th happened, and he was forced to leave office. In 2023, she predicted, "The former president will face justice, multiple charges, multiple trials. He will fight with all his might, but justice will come slowly but surely." Trump was indicted on 91 charges across 4 jurisdictions, and trials have been proceeding. Her accuracy rate about Trump specifically is impressive. And now she's made specific predictions about November 2025. And based on her track record, there's reason to pay attention. But there's something else about this prediction that hasn't been widely discussed. After the program where Moni revealed all this, she made additional comments on social media. Comments that were quickly deleted, but that some captured. In those deleted comments, Moni wrote, "What I didn't say on the program is that I see Trump's conviction in November is not the end of his story. It's the beginning of something different. I see that he will try to reinvent himself afterward, try to make himself a martyr, try to build a narrative of political persecution. And I see it will work partially. Some will believe, but it won't be enough to restore what he had. The spell is broken, and it cannot be remade. Attempt to reinvent after conviction. Martyr narrative. Partial success. But spell permanently broken. This is perhaps most devastating for Trump, not the conviction itself, but the inability to transform the conviction into something that strengthens him, like he did with so many other scandals. This time, according to Moni, the victimization won't work as before. So what should Trump and his allies do with this information? Ignore it because it comes from a psychic? Or take it seriously because Moni's track record suggests there's something real to her visions? The rational response would be, prepare, strengthen legal defenses, anticipate possible conviction, plan political response, control supporter reactions, avoid violence that would further damage the cause. But according to Moni's own deleted comments, she sees this won't happen. That Trump and his allies will underestimate the threat, that they will believe they are untouchable. And that's why they'll be caught unprepared in November. And if that happens, if November 2025 unfolds as Moni described, then we'll have to face uncomfortable questions about the nature of precognition, about free will, about whether the future can be seen because it's already determined or because human patterns are so predictable they can be calculated. We're in May 2025. November is 6 months away. 6 months for Moni's predictions to be fulfilled or debunked. 6 months for Trump to prepare or be caught off guard. 6 months for America to brace for potential chaos. And here's what makes this prediction particularly terrifying. Every day that passes without preparation is one day closer to the 3rd week of November that Moni specifically marked. Every day of inaction makes it more likely the vision will manifest exactly as described. Moni's predictions about previous politicians came true because she captured real patterns, saw vulnerabilities, understood dynamics. It wasn't magic. It was extraordinarily sharp perception of realities others didn't see, and in Trump's case, in November 2025, the vulnerabilities are real. The trials are proceeding, evidence is mounting, the legal net is tightening. Conviction is not impossible. It's increasingly probable. Moni simply saw this converging in November, in a specific month, and she marked specific dates within that month. Third week of November, verdict delivered, afternoon, timing of announcement, night after, emotional breakdown. The number 47, significance yet to be revealed, betrayal by someone close, identity still unknown. These are the specificities that make the prediction verifiable, and that make it terrifying, because there's no room for reinterpretation. Either it happens or it doesn't, and if it happens, then Moni will have demonstrated once again that she sees what others cannot. Millions of Americans are now waiting for November with a mixture of curiosity and fear. Waiting to see if Moni was right again. Waiting to see if Trump will actually be convicted. Waiting to see if MAGA will split. Waiting to see if there will be chaos. And Trump himself, does he know about these predictions? Has he heard them? Does he take them seriously? There are no public statements about it, but it would be impossible for them not to have reached him. They're too viral, too specific, too disturbing to be ignored. And if he knows them, what does he think? Does he dismiss them as superstition? Or in private, in the darkness of night, does he wonder if there's any truth to them? Does he wonder what he'll do when the third week of November arrives? Because that's the curse of specific predictions. Once you know them, you can't stop thinking about them. Every decision you make between now and November will be tinged by the question, is this taking me toward the prediction or away from it? And maybe that's the real reason Moni makes public predictions. Not to demonstrate her powers, but to warn, to give opportunity to change course, so that when November comes, things might be different because people acted differently after knowing what could come. But her own deleted words suggest she doesn't believe that will happen, that she sees the warnings being ignored and the conviction manifesting just as she saw it. 6 months until November. 6 months until we know if Moni Vidente was right again. 6 months until Trump potentially faces the humiliation she described. The clock is ticking. The vulnerabilities exist. The trials proceed. The warnings have been given. And the question now is anyone listening? And there's one last thing Moni said at the end of that program, something that almost went unnoticed amid all the other revelations. She said, "And I see that after November, after Trump's conviction, America will breathe. Not completely, not immediately, but it will begin to breathe, as if a pressure that has been over the country for years will finally start to lift. As if the page can finally be turned, but the healing will be long, and the scars will remain. America breathing after November, pressure lifting, page being turned, but long healing, permanent scars. Perhaps that's the most important part of the prediction. Not the details about conviction and chaos, but the suggestion that on the other side of November, there's possibility of renewal, of healing, of moving forward. If Moni is right about everything else, perhaps she's right about this too. And maybe, just maybe, November 2025 will be remembered not just as the month Trump was convicted, but as the month America finally began to heal. But first, November has to arrive, and we have to see if the psychic who got so many things right before will be right once more. The third week of November. Between the 17th and 22nd, afternoon in a courtroom, the word guilty being pronounced, Trump's face showing shock, supporters splitting, authorities prepared, the spell breaking, all of it predicted, all of it marked for a specific time, all of it waiting to be verified or debunked. 6 months. And then we'll know. We'll know if Moni Vidente truly sees the future, or if this time, finally, she'll be wrong, but her track record suggests she won't be. And that's what should terrify us all. If this video moved you, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share it with someone who also needs to know this truth.